The fascinating coastline of East Sussex includes the historic harbour of Rye. Once a small fishing community almost entirely surrounded by water, the sea has retreated, creating an abundant variety of habitats. Since 1970, this coastal expanse has been cared for as a nature reserve. As Rick and Julie are keen to explore the outdoors by bike and foot, we've sent them to meet reserve manager Barry Yates, who's dedicated over 3 decades to looking after the landscape.
How did this reserve come to be?
Well, back in 1970, a partnership of organisations came together because they realised that the coast was coming under a lot of pressure and it was threatening the wildlife. But apart from the 4,500 species, there's a whole layer of history and changing coastlines. And most importantly, there's 200 species that are nationally rare or endangered. And that's what we're managing it for. And what we're going to do today is have a cycle tour of the whole reserve. And we're going to go and see lots of wildlife, and there's a few surprises.
Oh, lovely.
The reserve is mostly flat, making it relatively easy to get around by bike. The intrepid can venture here via the National Cycle Network, but bike hire is available in Rye itself. The reserve is noted as a site of special scientific interest, and first stop today is one of 5 birdwatching hides.
What birds can we see here?
The birds out on these islands are a mixture of gulls and terns. These closest to us are black-headed gulls, and they're sitting on their nests, and the first chicks are hatching now.
Can we see the terns from here? Are they...
Yes, the terns are on the left-hand island.
Oh, right, okay.
There's been a fantastic increase in the numbers of pairs of nesting birds out here. So this year there's 400 pairs of sandwich terns nesting, which is a big increase on previous years.
Ensuring there are good nesting sites for the 90 different bird species that use the area is not left down to Mother Nature. Fences deter predators from badgers to foxes, while shingle islands, many man-made with managed vegetation, give the nests added protection. These current nesters have spent the winter months much further south, the terns in West Africa and the black-headed gulls in Spain and Portugal.
Is there a pecking order amongst them that who gets the best spot?
Yes, the early nesting ones get the best spots, and the later arrivals have to make do on the edge.
But it's not all about wildlife. With over 1,000 acres of terrain, from gravel paths to grassy pastures, the East Sussex shore tells a tale of invasions, both real and feared. Henry VIII built a series of coastal forts here. The remains of Camber Castle is one of them, now open to the public.
Wow, it's a fantastic castle. It feels like it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yep, it stands about 2 kilometres from the sea now, whereas when it was built in Henry VIII's time, that's 500 years ago, it was overlooking the sea. It was right on the coast.
So it's a really interesting shape. Is that normal for this kind of castle?
It is. They had a fairly common plan. They had these big semicircular bastions, really thick walls with cannons within, and very difficult to attack. You could not creep up on this castle without being seen.
So what happened to the sea? What happened to make it move so far away?
Shortly after the castle was built, the sea pushed up great ridges of shingle, and so now all this vast area that was once the sea is now being farmed, and some of it is the nature reserve.
Well, they say an Englishman's home is his castle, so let's see if we can find suitable fortifications for Rick and Julia here in the county.